Fleet Commander Gavin Thorne stood silently on the bridge of the UNS Resolute as space itself fractured before him. Hyperspace ruptures bloomed like violent wounds across the void, spilling out the Vorrath Armada in perfect formation. 300 warships emerged, their hulls layered with armor, their silhouettes bristling with weapons that had ended 40 civilizations. The Vorrath did not negotiate. They advanced, conquered, and erased. Behind Gavin, holographic tactical displays painted a bleak picture. Humanity's entire defensive force numbered just 70 ships. Smaller, lighter, inferior by every conventional military metric. Any strategist relying on probability would already be drafting surrender terms. "Commander," Communications Officer Briggs said, his voice tight, "the Vorrath are hailing us. War Master Xanther demands our immediate surrender." Gavin leaned back in his chair, fingers steepled, eyes unreadable. "Put him through." The view screen flickered to life, revealing the towering form of War Master Xanther. His armored carapace gleamed under harsh lighting, decorated with trophies taken from conquered species, bones, banners, fragments of shattered cultures. 4 mandibles clicked in what passed for a smile. "You will surrender your worlds," Xanther declared. "The Vorrath Empire expands. You stand in our path. Resistance is illogical." Gavin tilted his head slightly. "Is that your official position?" "It is the only position," Xanther replied. "We have crushed the Kelzari fleets, broken defensive coalitions, absorbed 40 civilizations. Your 70 ships against our 300, this is not war. This is extermination." Gavin glanced at his tactical officer. "Lieutenant Hayes. Confirm the ambassador is observing." "Confirmed, sir. Ambassador Polino is watching from the diplomatic vessel." "Good." Gavin returned his attention to Xanther. "One question before we begin, War Master. Did Ambassador Pryan warn you about us?" Xanther's mandibles twitched in irritation. The coward spoke of human unpredictability and recklessness. Fear-mongering. "So," Gavin said calmly, "you were warned." Xanther leaned closer to the camera. "You have 1 minute to surrender." Gavin smiled, not warmly, not kindly. "Then let the record show that you chose not to listen." "One more question," Gavin said, his voice steady. "Of the 40 civilizations you conquered, how many actually wanted to fight you?" Xanther paused, confused. "What?" "Simple question," Gavin continued. "How many chose war willingly? Because most species, when faced with overwhelming force, choose survival. They surrender. They kneel. That's what you're used to, isn't it?" "All species choose logic eventually," Xanther snapped. "All species kneel." Gavin's smile sharpened. "That's your first mistake. Humans don't." He stood from his chair, pacing slowly across the bridge. "When logic demands surrender, we choose defiance. We choose spite. We choose impossible victories because someone told us it couldn't be done." Xanther scoffed. "Your bravado is meaningless." "That's your second mistake," Gavin replied. "You think this is bravado. You stop pacing. You're used to fighting species who value survival above all else. Species who calculate odds and act rationally. Humans spent 300,000 years surviving on a death world where everything tried to kill us. Predators, diseases, disasters, and each other. We got very good at winning fights we were supposed to lose." Xanther's mandibles snapped shut. "Enough. Your minute has expired. All Vorrath ships, open fire." Space exploded. Plasma lances and kinetic barrages tore across the void, a wall of annihilation that should have obliterated the human fleet instantly. Instead, the human ships scattered in every direction, breaking formation chaotically. To any outside observer, it looked like panic. Like fear. It was neither. "Now," Gavin said quietly. "What the Vorrath did not know," Lieutenant Hayes reported, "was that we spent 6 weeks preparing this battlefield. Across the engagement zone, invisible gravity wells activated. Artificial forces twisted space itself, dragging Vorrath ships together. Formations collapsed. Hulls collided. Precision turned into chaos. Deploy swarm drones, Gavin ordered. Target propulsion only. Millions of microdrones erupted from human ships, swarming like metallic hornets. They tore into thrusters, coolant systems, and exhaust ports, not destroying ships but crippling them. "What is this?" Xanther roared as his flagship lurched. "Asymmetric warfare," Gavin replied. "Rule 1, never fight fair if you can avoid it." The Vorrath Armada was unraveling. 300 warships, once symbols of unstoppable conquest, now drifted helplessly as gravity wells pinned them together. Engines sputtered. Maneuvering thrusters failed. Weapons arrays struggled to track targets that refused to fight predictably. The human fleet regrouped with surgical precision, encircling the crippled armada. "You were warned," Gavin said, his voice broadcast across every Vorrath channel. "Ambassador Pryan warned you. Other species warned you. You ignored them because you had never lost before." Xanther's voice crackled through damaged comms. "You cannot defeat us all." "That's your third mistake," Gavin replied. "Thinking this is about defeating you." He gestured to Hayes. "Bring the ambassador on screen." Ambassador Pryan appeared, his expression grave. "War Master Xanther, I begged you to reconsider. Humans fight when fighting is illogical. They win when winning is impossible. And they never forgive those who threaten their homes." Gavin stepped forward. "Here's what happens now. You will order every Vorrath ship to stand down. You will withdraw from every conquered system. You will grant independence, pay reparations, and leave this sector forever." Xanther hesitated. Or, Gavin said flatly, "we start targeting life support instead of engines." Silence stretched across the void. "You have 1 minute," Gavin added. "Because humans may be willing to die for a cause, but are you willing to die for your pride?" 40 seconds passed. Then quietly defeated, Xanther spoke. "We surrender." The Vorrath Armada powered down its weapons. Across human channels, no cheers erupted. No celebration followed. The bridge of the UNS Resolute remained calm, disciplined, controlled. Humans did not celebrate survival, they expected it. Gavin exhaled slowly and returned to his command chair. "Stand down. Maintain overwatch until withdrawal is complete." As the Vorrath fleet began its retreat, Ambassador Polino's voice came through the channel. "Commander, you just changed galactic doctrine." Gavin shook his head. "No. We reminded the galaxy of something it forgot." Polino tilted his head. "And what is that?" "That overwhelming force only works on species who fear loss more than injustice," Gavin replied. "Humans fear surrender more than death." Across the stars, liberated systems began broadcasting signals of independence. Civilizations long crushed under Vorrath rule watched in disbelief as their conquerors fled. Later, alone on the bridge, Gavin stared at the tactical display, 70 ships standing where 300 had failed. Humans were not the strongest species. Not the largest. Not the most advanced. But they were shaped by a world that rewarded stubbornness, creativity, and refusal to quit. A species that learned early that survival was never guaranteed, and that sometimes the only way to live was to fight. The galaxy would remember this day. Not as a victory, but as a warning. Never corner a species that learned to survive on impossible odds. Never assume logic rules those who mastered defiance. And never forget. Humans fight hardest when they should lose.